Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're live. Canoga Park, California, March 14th, 2024. Today we're going live with the one and only Robert Patrick. Starred in many movies, shows, and all that good stuff along the years. He's a motorcycle enthusiast, owns a couple dealerships, and today we're going to talk everything Harley-Davidson, travel, road trip, and friends and stories. This episode is brought to you by Eagle Rider Motorcycle Rentals and Tours, as well as Law Tiger Motorcycle Attorneys. What's happening, boys? Who are we with today?
And Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita.
Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. You know, I bought a Harley-Davidson dealership, and it's located in Santa Clarita, California.
If you haven't been, you should go.
I think California? I might be the only actor that owns a dealership in maybe the world. Who knows?
I think that's true.
I think I might be the only actor that is a current owner of a dealership. So when we bought this dealership in Santa Clarita, I decided maybe we should name it Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. And I said that to Oliver Shoku, my business partner. He's the principal operator of the dealership. And it's located in Santa Clarita, California, which is out by Magic Mountain and Valencia and Canyon Country.
Magic
and
you're getting a new
Magic Mountain. Now we got a brand new place, 36,000 square foot building.
Big building. Right.
When we bought the building, when we bought the business, you know, Harley kind of let us know that you're going to need to move it, and it might be nice to find a better location out there on the freeway. So we've been looking since we bought that dealership. We're very fortunate. We found a great building smack dab on the freeway, and it's Magic Mountain is in the backdrop. So we're right there at the 126 and Interstate 5. You can't miss us. It's going to be a beautiful, brand new fuel program redesigned building. Harley-Davidson is going to be state of the art, one of their new flagship dealerships, and we're super excited about it. And we're going to keep that name,
Santa Clarita,
Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. Yes, sir.
And check out the screen right there. You got Santa Clarita tuning in.
Where's the logo? Oh, there it is. You put it up there for me.
He's tuning in. He's watching.
God bless you. There you go.
I think
I love that.
We need to be at that grand opening.
Yeah. Oh, I think for sure. Well, you guys we're family now.
We're family. That's right. That's right.
I mean, I got the gloves and everything now.
That's right.
I'm all set. 2LaneLIVE. This is badass. These are really good gloves.
We love them.
These are really good gloves. These would be great for the summer.
You know, you have a lot of similar riding habits as us.
Yeah, I heard you guys are junkies too for the road, huh?
All day, all night, ride. That's us. That's you.
What do you guys love about it?
The freedom, seeing America, meeting people out there. It's great.
I mean, when we started this, it was to really tell the stories of small towns and inspire people to get out, because these towns have been, you know, with the highways and freeways.
It's just like the movie Cars, right?
100%.
Remember that movie Cars?
Yeah.
Why they, you know, we have Eisenhower to thank for the freeway system.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Dwight D. Eisenhower created the freeway system, and it was really to be able to get the Army and personnel from one part of the United States to the other quickly.
Right.
And so that was the whole interstate system. Unknowingly, he killed the small towns, in the agricultural, you know, town squares and the little highways and the Route 66 and all those little state roads. They all went to the wayside, just like that movie Cars.
Well, there's a revival that goes on now. If that didn't happen, right now people are like tourists from around the world are wanting to see towns in Route 66.
Yeah, they are, and
so
it's funny. I like you. I mean, you know, I mean, how many we can tell road stories all day. I just did one where I was coming back from somewhere. I was riding back from Lackland Air Base with combat controller Mark Navatt, and we'd done an immersion with the combat controllers. And Brian Merrick from Harley was there with us too, and did the immersion. And we were coming back, and we went through some small town. I can't remember where the hell it was, and something significant was going on. But I meet this guy from Argentina, or was it Spain? I can't remember. He was out riding on the road, and he was YouTubing and doing all that kind of stuff. And I was like, "What made you come this way?" And I want to see America, and I don't want to see it from the freeways. I want to see it from the small towns. I want to see the highways that past America that's gone.
Right.
You know.
It's still there though, because people in these small towns, we find out they want to tell their story.
But it's a challenge, though. I mean, we were in Lusk, Wyoming, and my family on one side, farmers up in Idaho, right?
It's a
And
beautiful country. Idaho.
beautiful. But we're sitting in this bar having lunch, and I'm hearing some farmers talk about the challenge they're having with their kids, getting them into the tractors and getting them into the fields. They don't want to do it. They want to be on the computer and so they're struggling to find. So they're there, but it's still a struggle for a lot of these towns. And then
It's an interesting time to be alive right
It
now
is.
because people are not participating in life like the way we did when we were kids growing
Right.
up. And
Oh,
we can honestly say that.
100%.
And we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have the games, we didn't have all that shit. If you wanted to go outside, if you wanted to play or entertain yourself, it was either go outside and play
Yep.
and do something like that, or get a
Grab your
musical
friends and go ride a bike
instrument or
around.
something.
Yeah.
You always carry shit. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and we'd carry our baseball cleats with us everywhere.
Right.
And you'd be ready. You had your glove and your bat. You'd be ready for a game to
Right.
kick off anytime. So yeah, I feel really bad for the generation that's growing up right now. I mean, my kids are 23 and 27. My daughter's 26, 27. And I think they're on the fringe of this because they still, they had a pretty outdoorsy childhood.
Right.
That's the key. Outdoors, not staying in the house, getting outside.
Yeah, but it's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, it's all presented to you when it's all delivered to your front door.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you have to go anywhere? Why do you have to do anything? And I think we see it in sales with Harleys. I mean, if you don't have kids riding bicycles, they don't know how to ride a bicycle 2 wheels. Well, how the hell are you going to get them to ride a Harley-Davidson? You know what I mean? There's got to be an entryway into the recreational 2-wheel vehicles.
Well, hopefully with
And,
maybe the Striders and the electric bicycles, maybe we'll get people that
We
are,
have those, and,
so
and
now they'll,
we sell them. And usually, whenever we have an event at the dealership,
Yeah.
we have
which dealership?
Santa Clarita Harley.
Harley-Davidson.
Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita.
Aha, there you go.
We usually have those available for the kids to
Yeah.
get on the balance
That's
bikes and
how
all
I
that kind
grew
of
up.
stuff and stuff.
My father made a little bike for me, and it's out of conduit, and it was a pusher. And
What was
then
your first motorcycle?
my first was a 75cc Suzuki.
What was yours?
It was a 2008 Road King.
Oh, aren't you special?
Yeah. My son, hey, I raced whitewater kayaks.
I'm just kidding you.
No, I know. I raced whitewater kayaks. And when my son was 5 years old, he started racing PW50s. So we were in the dirt tracks.
Yeah,
The rest of his growing up, he won a gold medal in the X Games.
yeah.
And then I got into Harleys. He got into Harleys. And then my son's into Harleys. So
Yeah.
Harleys is our world now. That's
Yeah,
our
But
life.
my first
Yeah, it's a
motorized
passion. It's a passion.
motor scooter was a little mini bike with a 2.5 horse Briggs and Stratton engine in it. So that
Yeah,
was
I had
my
a Briggs and
first-
Stratton. I didn't have one. I was a poor kid growing up. We didn't, I had a pedal bicycle my whole
Yeah.
life, and my whole life was my pedal bicycle. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I had one of my first concussions riding that bicycle, but mini bikes. And I grew up, moved all over the United States. Born in Marietta, lived in Ohio. Went to high school in Detroit. Lived in Boston for a while. My old man was in Boston getting his master's from MIT. And you had every time I moved, I had sports was my entryway into being cool. Every time I moved, like every 2-3 years, it's like, oh, I can hit a baseball, I can play football, I can ride a bike. There was some of my kids, friends of mine, when I was a kid in Georgia, I remember had a little mini bike,
Mhm.
and it must have been a Briggs and Stratton, something or other. And we rode that around. There was another guy, I think in junior high, that had a dirt bike, and I remember riding that a little bit. And but my first motorcycle
Yeah.
was a Yamaha.
I own many of those.
125.
I don't know. It was a Yamaha Midnight Special.
Oh, I had one of those.
And I'm going to tell you something. I've never told anybody this. I had a girlfriend when I was living in Cleveland, Ohio. This girl was she was just gorgeous. And I fell in love with her. I met her right when I was going to go to Hollywood and become an actor. I was about 21. And I fell for this chick. And man, she put me through the ringer, and I kept putting off moving to Hollywood, kept putting it off. And then after about 2-3 years, I think she broke my heart, dumped me, gave me the crabs, and sent me on my way. And man, I was so hurt, and I wanted to really show her how cool I was. And I went out and I bought a Yamaha Midnight Special. I'd ride by her house. And, it was just horrible. I was obsessed with it. And it's a true story. And, you know, I rode around Cleveland, Ohio with that damn motorcycle, and I was cool. And it looked like it was a Harley. It was a Harley wannabe.
Yeah.
It was a black and gold. But the reason I bring this up is, you know, the gateway into the Harley world, right? You start on, that was the great thing about the infusion of Japanese bikes when they started hitting the market, is they were cheaper and you could get in to the lifestyle. And then once you were in, you were like, wait a minute, all the cool people are riding Harleys.
Right.
And I want to be one of the cool people. So
the Fonz
I got to get
on a Triumph.
Well, that's because he couldn't ride.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't know how to ride. I just read a story about that.
So did I.
Everything's on the internet.
Yeah.
So
it's a 750, right?
I think it must have been. It was a
was.
torque drive, and
Yeah.
I to tell you the truth, I don't even know if I ever checked the oil on the thing. I don't even know. I just
Probably
rode the
didn't
hell
need
out
to.
of it.
Right.
And I sold that right before I moved to get to come out to Los Angeles and pursue my career. And then I had this, you know, very poor life up until I did T2. And right after that, I think I did a movie where I rode a Harley and went, oh yeah, I love it.
You just woke up and said, I want to be an actor?
No, there's a long story.
Yeah,
That's a long story.
That's a long story.
I've told that story so many times. I'm
Yeah.
not tell that story anymore.
That's fine.
But I failed at a bunch of shit before I got into
But you have to fail.
But I realized one of my grandfathers was a con artist, and he was really good at it. And I realized, you know, he was really good at it because you would believe him, and he believed everything he told you, and that's really what acting is. So I think I could do this acting thing. I'm gonna try.
So, but
For real.
my son has a 4-year-old, so my grandson is
Congratulations.
fully into bikes.
Yeah.
He rides bikes. He has to be on a bike. He pedals bikes.
Right.
He jumps bikes. So he's the next
We
generation.
shouldn't have the.
And his friends they don't want to be anywhere but outside riding bikes. So
Yeah.
there's still hope.
Well,
Well,
I think
there's a gap.
I think the
Yeah.
thing when I was asking you to, like, you know, riding, what is it for you? I am so addicted
Yeah.
to riding, and I think it's that empty horizon in front of me. It's just there's just this promise of adventure, of something, what's over the next peak. And I tell this to people. I tell this to people in Hollywood. You know, like when I'm working on a movie or working on a show.
Yeah.
I ride up on my Harley, and they go, we prefer you not riding. Well, it's my life. This
Right.
is what I do.
Right.
I'm on my bike all the time. You know, I mean, so you want me to get here, or what do you mean? I got
It's a full-
Send the car.
I have to be here. But the thing is when you ride a motorcycle, everywhere you go, it's an adventure.
100%.
That's what we
If
say.
you get in a car to go get milk, you're getting in a car in a cage to go get milk. But if you get on your motorcycle,
It's fun.
now you got something. You got
Right.
something happening, and it's an adventure, and you carry that with you. It becomes a part of who you are. You glide into a room, and you've got this. I've just been doing something that you haven't been doing, and you don't understand.
yeah.
We don't own cars.
Yeah. Oh, good.
We ride motorcycles.
That's
all we
fantastic.
do. And everything you're saying it's kind of like we're hearing what we feel and say, because that's our passion.
There's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, because I think it taps into our subconscious of
Yeah.
who we are and the age we are and how we grew up. Like, we grew up watching James Dean and Marlon Brando and Michael Parks and
Did you ever watch
Peter
Combat?
Fonda and Easy Rider and all that kind of stuff, and John Wayne, and it's all intertwined and intertangled, and that's the image of what we think American is. And
we often, it's like we're on our horses.
Yeah.
It's like we're crossing this.
you're John Wayne and the Searchers crossing
that's-
Monument Valley. You know,
that's
Everyone
why
wants to be a cowboy.
Everybody
that's why
wants to
2-Lane Life because we want to be on the 2 lanes. We want to be out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just see
Now,
the
your
vast
2 lane
country.
lives, you want to be on the highway roads, the state road.
The state roads and
Yeah.
2-laners.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, we do take the interstate to get
If we
places
have to,
if we
sure.
have to.
Well,
but
sometimes, you know, like when I went to Milwaukee, I saw you guys in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
At the 120s, which is great fun.
Yeah.
And I timed this just right. It's the first time I met Jay-Z Yokin
Yep.
at the dealers meeting, and I knew I had to get there by 6. I left LA 3 days before that event,
He rode there.
and I rode there. And the last day was I left Iowa. I rode solo. I left Iowa in the rain, Council Bluffs, I think, if I'm correct, and rode right to Milwaukee. And I got there right at the start of the
No
dealer
way.
event. And I pulled into the museum, rain gear, my luggage, all that shit on my road glide, pulled in, got off my bike. And right after that, I met Jay-Z and was really proud of the fact that, you know, I'm a dealer that rides. I try to give that to my customers and people that come into the dealership. That
which
Oliver,
What
Harley-Davidson Santa Clarita. I
Go get a
appreciate
bike.
you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys get it. Oliver Shoku is a writer, and you know, I'm very fortunate that he's a dear friend of mine, and I've supported his charity since the Love Ride.
Mhm.
Since 1991, I think was the first one I did, maybe 92. And I made that my charity, that this is what I'm going to talk about and be a part of. But Oliver is a writer. So, you know, that's the thing I think that makes my dealership, and Glendale. There is another a dealership in the
what?
but I'm financially not invested in this.
But they're
it's
friends.
it's Glendale.
It's
What
It's
is-
my business partners.
Is that the one on Brand?
That is the one in yes, it is.
I think it's on
Actually,
Brand Boulevard.
it's in Glendale, California. And he's been doing it for 48 years.
Wow.
So when Oliver started, he had 3. He had him and 2 other guys. That was the staff. And he's got wonderful stories about how he grew his business. And
This sign behind you, that was one of his competitors at Barger.
Barger.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an old sign from
Old.
Bart.
That's an old one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Harley hasn't come and taken that from you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
We have
But-
the can on the other side.
But getting back to just the authenticity of, you know, when you ride into Milwaukee, you ride into the museum, and there you are standing there in your rain gear soaking wet. Yeah, just did it.
I mean, that
Yeah.
just soaked that all
That's
in,
what
right?
it's about. We want our Harley-Davidson. I speak for Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita only, but also for the motor company, in the sense that we don't want you just to buy the motorcycle. We want you to ride the motorcycle.
Absolutely.
Well, we
And
did
for
an-
those that do, they
Yeah.
really get into the passion like he did, starting with his 2008.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we had the opportunity to ride with Yokin at his in New Mexico.
What's
And-
that like?
And you know what? It was really
Great.
cool. Him and there were probably 10 other higher ups all rode.
Yeah.
So we were all carving
Yeah.
canyons together, and to see him riding, and I know people have their differences or what have you, but to see him ride and have the passion and tell us the stories that he's telling us to try to get this motor company headed back north.
Yeah, he's
again.
doing a great
He's
job. I
trying,
think
yeah.
he's a great guy. I think he's doing a great job. And you know, the brand is such a wonderful brand. I don't know if you've read the book from Willie
Willie
G.
G's.
Davidson.
Yeah.
It's on my desk.
It's a great book. And, you know, a lot of things that we're talking about, if you follow the history of Harley, and I'm not an authority or, anything, but if you follow the history, you can see the history of America with it.
Yep.
And how they line up. And it's really fascinating. One of my favorite people I've ever gotten to ride with is Willie G. I mean, to ride with Willie G, that guy, of all the people involved with Harley Davidson, Willie G. Davidson is, I mean, he's so important
Right.
to the motor company, from the design to understanding and going out and participating with the customers,
Yep.
going to rallies,
Yep.
listening to what they were saying, like you guys do, going out like your son does, going out listening to what the customers like, what they don't like,
Mhm.
custom ideas and things like that. Willie G is so important. And to be able to ride with him
Yeah.
and Bill
What
and
an
his
honor.
daughter Karen,
So Karen will be
Karen's
here
going
next
to be
week.
next week. On the
she's such a wonderful
Yeah.
gal, and God bless Nancy, and God rest her soul. She's was such a wonderful lady. I'll tell you this is something. This is kind of sentimental. When Oliver gave me the opportunity to come in and be a partner with him, which was such a gracious thing for him to give me that opportunity. When I collected my dealership, when they flipped it on, dealership 4421, Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. When they flipped it on, Willie G and Nancy were there.
Oh, really?
Great.
And in San Diego, and I just remember Willie and Nancy both going, just keep that enthusiasm.
Yeah.
They were so they could see how
I feel it now. I feel
I
your
was fucking
passion.
jacked, man. I was so like, well, fucking Harley Davidson.
You still are jacked.
And
what dealership do you own?
Harley Davidson Santa Clarita.
I thought so.
And I remember that. We had a really celebratory kind of a moment there that and when I go back to Milwaukee, I used to get to see Willie, get to have lunch with him.
Yeah.
Because Oliver is in the same, my partner Oliver is in the same motorcycle club with Willie, which is the Uglies motorcycle.
The Uglies. Okay.
And I'm a booze fighter.
Right.
So
How long have you been a booze fighter?
well, I'll tell you an interesting story. This
about-
is a really interesting
Yeah.
story because you'll like this. One of the first trip I took across country on, I took it on a big electric glide, was in 2005 or 2004, and I'm going to be honest here, and I was so apprehensive about doing this
Right.
trip, like anybody that's never ridden a motorcycle cross country. You and I know, all of us know that there's really nothing to it. You got a credit card, right?
Right.
Yeah, put
Well
a
said. Well
little bit of
said.
cash in your pocket. You don't need much.
Right.
As Willie G says, just keep it simple. You don't need
Right.
much. Don't take much with you. You don't have to pack much. You really don't.
I
And
overpack.
anything you
I'm a
need,
bitch.
are you?
Yeah.
Anything you need, you can get on the road, and you're not
Yeah,
going to have
true.
any problem.
That's true.
But when you first, you like wrapping your head around, oh my God, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be out there all by myself.
Right.
I'm going to be riding around. Yeah. Got a bunch of tools.
Yep.
I got to have this. I got to have that. And the next thing you know, you got all this shit on your bike that you don't need
Right.
because there's dealerships everywhere.
Everywhere.
Just
That's
rain
the
gear.
beauty,
Yeah. That's
right? I'll tell you another funny story, but let me finish this first one first. We went riding around, and it was Steve O. Watson, myself, Bubba Sheffield, and somebody other. Oh, Ricky Barnes, my dear friend Ricky Barnes. We were riding across America. We were coming back. We'd been on the road for over a month, and we were kind of shooting photographs and videos of us having a good time, and we're seeing everything. And we did 2 lanes, and we also did it without any GPS. We did maps only, which is not the way to do it. Let me just tell you this. Use everything. Use the GPS that's on your system, because using a map and trying to get around, I mean, it's fun, but it's not fun
Right.
when you don't have a place to sleep at night, and you're, it's like, oh,
Where are we?
yeah, I didn't want to camp because I'm a prima donna.
Right.
I
so
got to have a hotel.
You're kind of like me then.
Yeah, I got some money, man. So there's roughing it, and then there's
You know what a rub is, right?
Down with the
We've been called rubs.
rich
Urban bikers.
rich urban bikers. Well, I don't know, but it's also you worked hard, you get to a certain level, and it's
There
not
it is.
bad having a hot shower.
Yeah.
So we've all been there, right?
Right.
We've been there. So we were going through Yellowstone, and I got pulled over for speeding. And
Really?
kind of like the White House.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and I got pulled over for speeding, and I took off my helmet, and I had a show on TV at the time called The Unit, which was about the Delta Force, and the cop recognized me, and he said, "Oh, I didn't know it was you." And how would you know? I got a full face helmet. And he said, so you guys are speeding? I go, yeah. And he goes, this is a federal park and all that kind of stuff. You can't be carrying on like that. You need to tone it down. So, okay, cool. So we saw this little diner, one of those, national park things. And we said, yeah, let's go in there and eat. So we go in there to eat and we're sitting in there. And before I had left on this trip, I'd read a book about the Booze Fighters,
Right.
Greatest motorcycle club in the world. And it intrigued me. It was fascinating.
What's the name of it?
Booze Fighters Motorcycle Club, established in 1946.
Wow.
And I had read this history of the Booze Fighters written by Bill Hayes, a historian. And we're sitting there, and Steve O. Watson came in and he said to me, hey, there's a Booze Fighter here. I said, you're shitting me. No way. He said, yeah, he's in. So, and in walked this guy, 6'5", big white beard, looked like Santa Claus, big grin on his face. And I thought he was one of the originals because this is an old motorcycle.
Right.
Kind of looks like you. You're just crazy.
Just bigger.
Just bigger. And he smiles and he comes in and he sits down and I see he's a Christian. He's praying over his food. He's about to order. He's looking at me. We're sitting about like this. And there's a U right in here, right? So the waitress goes in here. And he says, he goes, I know who you are. And I go, I know who you are. He goes, oh, yeah? What do you know about me? And I said, well, you're a Booze Fighter. You guys are cool. You guys are like one of the original motorcycle clubs. You guys are righteous dudes. You guys are super cool. Founded in Los Angeles, 1946. I started to do so. You do know a little bit about it. So we started talking. And I ended up buying him lunch and Steve-O and Ricky and I. And by the end of it, I knew his name, Yukon, and I found out, he was a Christian guy from Virginia. And I said to him, I ride with a bunch of guys in Hollywood, and the Teamsters grips. They're not all actors. It's, guys that, dudes. And I think I could start a chapter in Los Angeles. And he said, oh, you think so, huh? And I said, yeah. So the internet was brand new. This is 2005. And I'm pretty sure he said, well, send me an email. So I think it was that's about right. And I took his phone number and everything. He said, if you're serious, hit me up. And I took him up on it. I called him up and we bought him a ticket. We flew him out here. He took us off to meet the international vice president of the Booze Fighters is up in Grass Valley, Big Daddy, Carl Spots, who was a Harley-Davidson dealer at one time. He had a dealership. And the rest is history. We went down and we met all our brothers we didn't know about in San Diego, and we built the chapter. We got a lot of help from Brian Snowman,
So
Pretty Boy, another
your
guy.
vest, you have charter holder because
I have the
started
charter
here
in Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah, 17 years ago,
That's
18
amazing.
years ago. Yeah, so and it was interesting. I didn't really realize I was going to be a motorcycle club member until that happened. It sort of fell in my lap, and I really do. I have a very strong relationship with God, and I felt like God brought this guy to me that day.
Yeah.
It just couldn't have happened any other way that we were brought together because he was camping around. And
But while we're talking, can we just do a quick? We need a prayer. Is it Bam?
Yeah, Bam. Yeah, we all need to pray for my brother Bam, who was in a awful motorcycle wreck this morning in West Virginia, head-on collision. I don't know anything other than we're praying that he recovers quickly, and we ask our Father to do whatever he can to help him get through this and this surgery that he's going through right now. And appreciate it if you all think about him and put him in your prayers. Chris Shelton. So we came back and we started the chapter, and we ended up having a guy that was here that had the charter, and we worked with him to develop the chapter, and we've had it for 17 years. This May, as a matter of fact, we're going to have a poker run going from Glendale Harley-Davidson and Santa Clarita Harley-Davidson to the Elks Lodge in Burbank. May 4th.
We're going to be in Philadelphia.
Say that again. Let me put it up on the screen.
May, I think, is that a Saturday or Sunday? It's got to be a Saturday,
It's
May
a
4th,
Fourth, I think, is a Friday.
May 4th or 5th.
From Glendale
Cinco de
to
Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo run.
It'll be leaving from Glendale, Harley, and it'll
Where?
be leaving from Glendale, Harley, and Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita.
May 4th, we're going to be
May
in
4th.
Philadelphia.
What are you going to be doing there?
We're going to the Fletcher Street Cowboys. They're a black group of cowboys that have been there for like 70 years.
Oh, cool.
We're going to meet the founder. They do stuff for inner city children, and people teach them how to get off the streets, ride horses. So we're going to ride in on our horses, maybe clean some stalls with them, get on their horses, show the kids motorcycles, and then do like a Gettysburg Civil War tour.
Well, that's cool. You ever been to Gettysburg?
I went by it. I went to the Liberty Bell a long time ago, but we're going to do all that and share it with our folks.
Well, I got my wife lived part of her life in Pennsylvania, outside of Philly, and I walked through Valley Forge. Well, I was there doing something recently, like a year or two ago. That's a beautiful area.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
great. Every state in the union is a great place to ride a motorcycle. Oliver's done more trips than I have to, like he rode to the Arctic Circle,
Wow.
Wow.
up into Alaska and all that shit.
Well,
How
were
do you
saying-
have time with acting, with booze
Well, we've been
fighters,
on
with-
strike, man. So I did 2 jobs last year. I did Reacher.
Yep.
With Alan Richson.
When
And,
he said
You got
he was
thrown
thrown
out of a
the
plane.
Got thrown out of a helicopter.
Helicopter.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
Big
Then you
boy.
survived.
And, well, I'm dead on that show. And then I did another movie that's going to be a very, very cool movie that I did called Mermaid. And I'm not sure when that's coming out. But the strike is over and Hollywood is going back to work. But there's another strike looming. Our IATSE brothers and sisters and the Teamsters that supported us when we were on strike,
Right.
they may be going on strike. And if they do, of course, we've got to walk the line for them
Reciprocate.
as well.
Yeah.
So we have to reciprocate. I like that. It's a good word.
Yeah.
It's not a biker word.
No, it's not.
We don't say shit like that.
Give back to them.
give.
So
Red
we're
bike
about
and
to
Santa
say
Clarita,
names. I'm
Harley
curious.
Davidson.
Did you
I'm
ever
65.
Did you ever watch Combat?
Yeah.
Dick
Oh, yeah. I
Morrow,
love that. Yeah. My favorite show when I was growing up was The Monkees. I still
remember.
love that band. I had that band. I listened to the Monkees essentials.
Hey,
all the
we're
time.
the
It's great
monkeys.
fucking music. It's great shit. Put it
The
on there. Mix
bikers-
it in there with
Bikers
Crosby,
listen
Stills,
to the
Nash and Young.
Monkees.
Right?
Fuck yeah, they're good, man. she told me that she loved me.
See, I mean, I'll be honest. I grew up watching Clint Eastwood, love his movies, but whenever there's a movie and I knew that you were in it, I watched it because I like your acting.
Thank you.
You know, it's like, oh, before I really knew you, that guy's in it. All right, it's probably a cool movie.
That's very kind.
I don't like
I've
your
done-
acting at all.
You don't like my acting
No.
at all? No. That's all right. I can't win them all. So, but I did do a couple movies with Clint. I did. He directed me in Flags of Our Fathers, which was
That's
a
a great
fun
movie.
film to do.
Yeah.
I got to be the guy to give the order to put the flag up there on Mount Suribachi
Yeah.
That's awesome.
with Neil McDonough, a wonderful actor. Barry Pepper's in that. A lot of great guys in that. And then I did another movie where Clint was was an actor, and his producing partner was a director. It was called Trouble with the Curve with Justin
great.
Timberlake,
Yeah.
and I played Clint's boss.
Yeah.
And
How'd that
he's a
help?
great
Yeah.
guy. He's a great
I
guy.
just
love
saw that, and I just saw you standing under the
Yeah.
thing going, where's this guy from? The
Yeah.
pitcher throwing the.
Yeah, who's this? I had a fun time working with Clint. He's a riot. I had the honor of, I don't know what I did during this take that it made him laugh so hard he was crying. And every time, and it was my coverage, and now and he's like standing over here. And every time I went through this part of the scene, I could feel that he was going to bust out
He's
laughing off camera and fuck up my take. So I'm like looking at him like, Clint, seriously. I mean, dude, this is my coverage.
Well,
remember
when we do
meeting-
our up north trips, we always have to go to the Hog Breath, even though he doesn't own it anymore,
Yeah.
but it's nostalgic.
He's a motorcycle guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he rides Harleys, but he's a motorcycle guy. But you know, I mentioned Willie G and I mentioned Karen and Bill, whom I really love, and we were. I'll tell you a great story about Nancy. I went to an Uglies meeting in Milwaukee a couple years ago before she passed away, and we were at a brunch, and so I was invited to go because I was Oliver's, you know. So I'm the booze fighter, token booze fighter in there, and I'm sitting next to Nancy. So she's sitting here, and she's where you are, and she kept, she had to have it because she's, she and Willie, since they were in high school, they were sweethearts, and she kept thinking I was, but Willie was sitting over there. She kept hitting me on the leg. She I'm so sorry. I do that to Willie all the time. It was really, really cute, and it was very endearing to me. But I felt very special
Of course.
that she would be that comfortable. Yeah, what a great lady. And they're great. They're such a great family.
Yeah.
And so important to the motor company.
Yeah.
100%. So with is it Glendale Harley-Davidson and Santa Clarita Harley-Davidson, right? So there used to be a big love ride.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went away. Why did it go away?
No. Well, let me set the record straight. And I'm going to set the record straight about the Booze Fighters
as well,
and with me as well.
Yeah.
I've been a Booze Fighter for 17, 18 years now, and it was about 4 or 5 years after I became a Booze Fighter that Sons of Anarchy showed up, and I was kind of like, oh wow, that's intriguing. I know, that's let's see what's going to happen with that show. So that's number one. Number two. The Love Ride, it was the COVID.
Oh,
so it's a pandemic is what kept the Love Ride from happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember it used to run up to Castaic.
Yeah, it's huge. It's 32, 33 years. Well, there's a couple of really big rides that have been happening for years besides Sturgis. And one is the Ride to the Wall, which is 33 plus years. And the other is the Love Ride.
Mm-hmm.
And the Love Ride was started by Oliver with David Crosby and their motorcycle club, the Uglies. And they started, he asked David to play one time, and we're going to have a festival and have a little get together and raise some money for charity. And David said, sure. And he'd have friends drop by, and he built it up over the years. I mean, he said, first off, Oliver's raised with the Love Ride, he's raised over $25 million.
That's fantastic.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
And the thing, all of us bikers know, we're just looking for some place to go.
Right.
So there's music, there's beer.
Let's go.
Let's go. So the pandemic, not only, when I bought the dealership, the pandemic hit in the middle, right after. It's like,
we started our brand in the pandemic, but we kept going.
2018. Yeah. Well, we kept going too. And, both dealerships kept going. But the Love Ride, we couldn't do. I mean, it wasn't. So the last one we did right before the pandemic, we had the 32nd one, we had the Foo Fighters. The following year, we had Dave Grohl and Backbeat Barbecue camped out in the parking lot of Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. And we put up security fences and had RVs and, his family were all camping out there. I was really thrilled that they felt comfortable enough to be there. He had his mom there and everybody. And he invited all his friends in, and they all started cooking barbecue for, I think he'd been cooking for 48 hours. Wow. And Taylor Hawkins, rest his soul, he had a band called Chevy Metal, and they were our act. Okay. And so we only had 800 people. We had a very small Love Ride. And that was the last time I saw Taylor Hawkins, actually.
Wow.
Very sadly.
Yeah.
And Dave came out and played, and they played there, and it was a good one. But we're bringing it back. It's going to happen this year. It's the second week of November. Second week in November, and it will feature both dealerships. Harley-Davidson of Glendale and Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita.
Because I remember years ago, like there were CHP, thousands of bikes going up.
Oh yeah,
up to 5.
Yeah, well, that was the heyday. I mean, the Love Ride was started when it was started by Oliver, and then it really rode the big wave. I mean, there was you remember the 80s, and the 90s for Harley was just huge, and that was. Remember when well, you don't remember this, and I'm not picking on you, but you remember when you had to go and sign a thing? I want a Road Glide.
Right.
And you had to hope and pray that they got a Road Glide for you.
Yeah.
And you were on this list.
Really?
Right. Yeah. and it was pretty heady times for
Yeah.
everybody. And so we're bringing it back this year. It'll be big.
Do you have a destination? Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Castaic. It'll
Oh,
be
again.
big. It'll
Be
be
back
out there.
to the
Be out there.
same.
It's going to be big. Oh, I know who the act is.
Are we going to be there?
We should be there.
Is he inviting us there?
Are
Well,
we going with you?
you guys are more than welcome. Absolutely.
Okay.
You're right up front with us.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Sure. Absolutely. We have Jay Leno, and we have
we
a
went to his
very,
garage.
very big act coming in to play for the Love Ride, but I'm not at liberty to disclose this yet.
Who's going to
But I
announce
will.
that?
That will be
Oh, but you
announced
will.
by Oliver Shoku, and you will have Oliver Shoku live here
We'll do it.
We can
because
do that.
because Oliver is you got much more history of a Harley Davidson behind him than I do,
Love to have it.
and he would be a wonderful guy for you to have.
Absolutely.
He can tell you stories. The Love Ride is international now. It's in Switzerland. It's in Mexico.
really?
Oh yeah,
I didn't
been
realize that.
incorporated. I don't know if that's right, incorporated, but they have licensees for it, and it's all his original
Let's
thing.
pencil him in.
You know, we've had, like I said, we've had great acts: ZZ Top. We've had Bruce Springsteen, Jackson Brown, Sheryl Crow.
it
I've
was
got a
big
lot of
time.
friends in the business, and that in the future for the Love Ride.
So this charity, is it a specific charity that?
It'll probably be for Wounded Warriors
Okay.
or veterans issue. I'm pretty sure it's Wounded Warriors this year. Don't quote me on that.
No, I won't. But I also read something about the Booze Fighters, and you
Yeah.
guys support veterans and
My chapter 101, is a nonprofit.
okay.
We raise money throughout the year. We've actually given checks to a Marine. Actually, I remember we gave him a check to buy a van. He needed one for his family. We do that year round, and it was founded by veterans in 1946 in Los Angeles. Wino Willie Faulkner founded it. He was a hellraiser. He came back from the war, and I think he was a door gunner or something like that. And he came back, and he was racing. And I think they delivered blueprints at the time in Los Angeles on their motorcycles. And it was that chopper.
Yeah.
It was when they started doing the bobbers.
Right.
Which Willie talks about in his book, where they got those surplus bikes that they had made for the military, and they came back and they chopped them all up and figured out a way to make them race. And they were all racing around. And I think he got pissed off at an AMA event or something like that. And he was drunk. Booze fighters have a real loving relationship with alcohol, and he stormed a race and went through the barricade, got out front in fucking booze fighter fashion. He did some laps and raised hell, and
So this
And-
is just inbred in you guys? Like
it's
you're at
just
the White
inbred in
House
it.
and
Yeah,
you just go
you
getting
go
the
to
red
White House.
targets?
I'm proud of that. I wrote at the White House. It was actually President Trump was in office when I was invited down there for my veterans advocacy stuff that I've been doing. I'm involved with TAPS.org, and the USO. Obviously, I've done a bunch of USO trips, and Wounded Warriors, and God, I hope I'm not leaving anybody
USO
out. Combat
trips-
Control Foundation. All these groups that I've been involved in, and the ride to the wall has given me sort of doing it 17 years with New York Mike, former owner of San Diego Harley, combat veteran. I've just sort of found myself where I've been able to help these guys and shed some light to some of these veterans issues. And I ended up being invited to the White House and got to do a couple laps in my booze fighter cut, riding around. And all I could think about was my granddaddy, and his service to the war, to the wars. He was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army and a Bronze Star.
What wars?
You said
He
three
was
wars,
World War
right?
One war. My grandfather, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Patrick, he went off into World War One right out of high school.
Hmm.
I don't know. I've been told he lied about his age.
You had to.
He
right?
served, and then he came back, and he went to college at New Hampshire, University of New Hampshire, played football, and I've got football. That's him.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's him in his 1920s. So he was playing football, and then he had a steakhouse or something in Boston, and World War II broke out. He re-enlisted and went back in and served. and then he served in Korea. And then in 1963, he got stomach cancer. And my earliest memories are of my grandfather at Fort Bragg. I mean, I remember him.
He was a true patriot.
It's like, he's this bigger than life figure for me. So, like you guys, going to high school with the Vietnam War,
Mhm.
it was a different thing. And we watched that war, and we were programmed to believe that our soldiers were bad by our own media.
Right.
And as a result of doing the ride to the wall and going out there and being with the Vietnam vets and hearing their story and realizing they were never welcomed home.
Right.
And they were pissed on by their fellow countrymen and called baby killers and child killers. And the fact that this whole event now was founded on the foundation of riding and the brotherhood that we have. And they started invading Washington, D.C. and demonstrating on their Harley-Davidsons, right? And saying, we've got brothers back there that are prisoners of war. We've got missing in action. We deserve, we demand, this. And that's how the ride to the wall started. And that's fascinating to me. And it changed totally changed my, when you grow up and your family's been in the military, going all the way back to the Revolutionary War. And then all of a sudden, when I'm graduating high school, I'm going, there's no fucking way.
Right.
I'm not, those guys, they're all drug addicts and baby killers and shit. I'm not going into that army. I had this conversation with Colonel Tommy Franks over a cigar in Oklahoma one time. And I was telling him about that. Yeah, you imagine? Because I would have been a candidate to go into the military.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the thing to do. And now you meet these guys and you hear their story and you go, oh, wow, did they do a number on us? They did a whole psyops on us and just made us believe that our military were bad guys. We're bad guys. And
but being in this community, I mean, that's what I think is so interesting about it too, is there are so many people that have served the country that are motorcycle riders, and the motorcycle clubs, they've served together. So now they've got the brotherhood together again. They can look at each other. And
well,
know
they're
exactly
looking
what.
they're looking for that camaraderie. They're looking
100%.
They're looking for that adrenaline rush that we get from riding.
And we get so many people coming in, bringing us patches, and
I
it's
noticed
just,
that. You guys got a lot of first responders and
we
stuff.
do, and we
That's
got
fantastic.
a lot of,
Well,
And you're very sincere in your efforts.
we had a passion and we wanted to do it this year. We presented it to Harley-Davidson, but it kind of went to the wayside. We wanted to get us guys right here. We wanted to go to England. We wanted to, on D-Day, ride motorcycles from an air base across the channel into Normandy and then end up in Berlin.
it's the 80th.
So it's kind of,
You should talk to Donnie Edwards.
Yeah.
Donnie Edwards does the thing where he flies over all these veterans, and they go over there and they go every year. You should talk to him. You should get a couple of motorcycles over there and just do it. You don't have to get period correct ones and just do it. You should talk to Donnie Edwards. I forget the name of the foundation. Donnie's a good guy. There's the camera. There I am on monitor. Look at that saggy old sack of shit.
It doesn't look the same on that television.
but we thought it would be a
Christ.
great,
My publicist is going to say this, and you'll never do another podcast without proper makeup and styling and lighting. For goodness
well, this
sake.
is a motorcycle podcast.
Yeah,
So
I
it's,
know.
you know.
I know.
But that was like
my publicist probably won't see this. So
that was a passionate dream we had to do that, and we kind of let it slide, and it still probably could happen, but budget, money, it's like,
well, everything's booked up. We were trying to book stuff back in like July, August, and stuff was booking then, and it's just
flights were
outrageously
expensive.
expensive now because
well, do the run to the wall.
yeah.
Do the run to the wall. Feel good about it and do it. And from the Vietnam vets' point of view, what I learned about them, and I love these guys, Artie Muller and Steve Prager and New York Mike. I invited them all out to my dealership, and my dealership is the only dealership west of the Mississippi that I am aware of that has a permanent POW MIA chair of honor on the showroom floor looking out at the motorcycles.
Really?
And Harley-Davidson, the lifestyle everything that comes with it. And it's hand in hand with the military. I mean, the military is as much a part as Harley is the military. And to be there, and who's that guy? What's he doing in the middle of our show? He's taking off the phone. Did we cut? Are we over?
He's
Okay.
good.
He's just.
Sit back.
He's doing
We
the
can do
techie.
this.
I'm not used to this live TV shit. So, but they're so intertwined, the military and Harley Davidson, and I've got that chair planted there. And when you go to the
I think
wall,
we saw it, didn't we?
it's
I'm
sitting
sure we
there,
did.
and it looks out at all the bikes. And you
Yeah.
just think about all those kids that don't get to ride motorcycles. And anytime, you just got to remember that they don't get to do it. So
Right.
you got to do it. So if you can throw your leg over a motorcycle, you should be doing it for those kids.
Well, and
and
you
going
think
out there and
you're
enjoying
talking
it.
about the match that Harley had with the service, and I mean, if you've read the book Tom Brokaw's Greatest Generation, I don't know if you.
I'm not a fan of Tom Brokaw.
I know, but the book's great.
Okay.
It's all the stories about how us as Americans at that time, and it's just littered with different stories about sacrifices they were making. And Harley was one of. They turned those motorcycles, their 41s or whatever, into military bikes, and they were integral in the part. And it wasn't just our military.
Yeah.
And so that whole generation at that time, Harley, the companies that laid down, they changed their factories to make ammunition. It's just what an insane time to be around
Oh
and
yeah.
watch that group of people. And
Definitely.
then they sacrificed for our country.
It's
death.
good water. You know where that's from?
No.
You don't know
wait.
where that's from?
Yeah.
From fucking Arkansas.
Ochita Mountains,
What
USA.
the fuck, man? You drink that shit, you don't know what it's from.
Well,
Speaking of which, where's this shit from?
that's from the same.
That's the
tap-
same thing.
It's the tap water.
No.
It's LA tap water.
No.
LA tap water, the only tap water that comes from sewer water.
The
It's
more
actually
you
Great,
know.
the great state of California. You got all this water everywhere, but what we're gonna do is take your sewage water and we're gonna treat it and we're gonna turn it into tap water. And we'll let the rest of that water go on out in Long Beach Harbor out there and just all that rainwater just go.
And we're going to give it to Robert Patrick.
We won't give it to
Truth right there. Truth.
I don't understand that, but then again, it's some sort of government
Bureaucracy.
crazy water rights.
We have this planet.
You
has
got
so many
all
water.
this water going right through here and you don't catch it.
Right. Bad planning.
I mean, come on.
Bad planning.
But we're in a drought.
Yeah.
And y'all don't want to water your yard.
Put some turf in.
I never stopped watering my lawn. Ever.
I water my yard. I don't give a shit.
My neighbors say your lawn looks green. I go, yeah, I just know how to do it right.
I know how to do it. You put some fucking water on. So let's talk some more. I've been talking. I'm exhausted. I've talked my fucking ear off.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're about 12 minutes in, so we still got 48.
We've got it. I've killed more time than that.
No, yeah.
He's
12
jiving
minutes.
you.
He's fucking with
I'm
Yes.
messing with you.
Hey, I just
What
want. I
time
forgot.
is
It's
me. Oh,
almost
it's
5.
almost 5.
We
We're gonna
you know, we did a whole thing.
tell
on
me
Jay
something
Leno.
you want. Go ahead.
We did a whole thing on Jay Leno. We went to his place, hung out with him. He showed us his motorcycle.
Jay's a great guy. He's gonna be there for us for the love ride again. He's a great guy. He's a wonderful man.
Super guy.
Wonderful guy. There's so many wonderful people in the motorcycle community, and I'm really blessed to have met so many. Actually, I want to give a shout out to Kurt Sutter and for him bringing me in on Sons of Anarchy, which was tons of fun. It was fun having a show about the lifestyle. Obviously, a very dramatic, overly dramatic, and extreme version of what we do. But it was fun to have that to watch, and I enjoyed doing that.
What
And
haven't
the
you been
Mayans
on,
as
though?
well. My character on that.
You've been on everything.
Well, I came on there, and then Les Packer was the president of the San Bernardino chapter of Sons of Anarchy, and then he gets cancer and he dies during the Mayan years. So when Mayans was
Coming into the
a new program
Yep.
coming out of Sons, and they kept me alive all the way up till the end.
we had JD Pardo here.
Yeah, great guy, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
a great guy.
What a sweetheart. He
Yeah.
probably talked
He was
less
great.
than I talk.
No,
he was
he was
right there
great.
with you.
Oh, he's talking
He's
to a
right
guy
there.
like me.
It was great.
I'm talking about show. You're probably one of the busiest actors
I've been really blessed.
you have.
I've been really blessed. I should tell you some of the stuff I have coming up. I'll be going back to I don't know if I can talk about that,
There
But
you
you're
go.
going
but I
somewhere,
can
right?
talk about Peacemaker. I will be returning to Peacemaker as Augie Smith, aka White Dragon, the ultra racist, xenophobe, homophobe, just awful human being father to John Cena's Peacemaker. So that'll be fun. Everybody tune in for that.
John
That'll be
Cena.
on HBO Max. And I don't know if you saw Peacemaker. Have you seen Peacemaker?
I haven't seen
yeah, I
it.
know
Neither
it,
one of you
yeah.
guys. It's hilarious. It's a great show. It's DC. You saw it.
No, I was
Oh, Jesus.
we booked you,
All you guys.
and then 2 days later I started watching 1923. I'm like, fuck, I know that guy.
Yeah,
you know?
1923. Well, I'll be going back to 1923 as well. So
Okay,
Peacemaker,
very cool.
1923, I'm going to be going back to 1923. Here's a funny bit about 1923. I don't know if this is funny. It's relevant. I went to the producer in 1923 and I said, hey, it's 1923. And he went, yeah. I said, so Harley's been around for 20 years. And he goes, and I said, Harley's been around for 20 years.
Get me
Right.
We're in
strap tank or
Montana.
Right.
And you know, one of these guys has got a Harley. Well, we don't have any. Well, I know, but you should get a Harley and put it in the show, and I should ride it.
Right.
I'm the sheriff. Why wouldn't I be on the
Yeah.
Harley?
That'd be great.
That's what I said. I said, I can ride a Harley a hell of a lot better than I can ride a fucking horse. I'll tell you that right now. And
Sounds like if you had your choice of anything you can do right now, you'd be on your Harley
yeah, I would be. And it's sitting
or
out
at a
there.
Rams
It's
game.
sitting out there, and I parked it in the fire lane.
Oh,
And
it's
I'll tell
good.
you
Yeah,
the
it's
reason I'm
towed.
parking in the fire lane because I like my bike to sit in the shade.
Yes. Yes.
Because then but then again, it's a little cool tonight. So it would have been nice to have a little hot seat. Well, we were talking earlier before we kicked this off that you guys get around and I get around to a lot of the same places that you guys get around to. We've all been to Winslow, Arizona.
Yep.
Grand Canyon. I mean, anywhere and everywhere you go on your bike, it's a fucking adventure.
Well, in
We went-
2026, Route 66 will be 100 years old. I'll be 66 years old. He was born in 66. So we're going to run the whole thing again.
Sounds
And we're
good.
going to go meet some people.
Have you
So
ever
you'll
done
be-
anything up like Lubeck, Maine, or any of those?
My daughter went to college in Bennington College in Vermont.
Okay,
So that's as close as I got. I rode around. That's some good riding.
that's
by the
some
way.
really good riding.
Vermont in June, New Hampshire, Connecticut, beautiful riding.
Our wives ride with us a lot, passenger wise.
You know, my wife doesn't ride with me. at
Our
all.
wives love it.
It's funny. My wife had a Harley, and then when we got pregnant with the first kid, she said, it was either me or her. I can't remember. Anyway, she got off the bike and she never went back to it.
Mm.
Excuse me. And I've been a booze fighter the whole time,
Right.
and I rode the whole time. We raised the kids, and she doesn't really participate with me at all, and doesn't really get on. The
Ours
bike
like to
at
look
all.
forward to it.
My wife uses it as a way to escape from me, because as you can tell from this interview, I'm insane. So I'm crazy,
I
and
think you like to have fun.
I like to have fun. And I think my wife uses it as an excuse to. I've got one of the only wives in the world that does this. I wrap a show, and she'll say, "Yeah, so I think you should go on the road." What do you mean? Well, I think you should get on your bike and you should just take off. Where should I go? I don't care.
Just go have
Wherever
a good
you
time.
want to go.
You've been on.
Don't
set
worry
for
about
3
anything.
Weeks too.
Go ride. Go maybe take a month to deep process. Maybe go out there for a couple months. You got nothing to do, and I'll call you if we need you. Just go.
That's
And
I love her.
She's the greatest. She's the greatest wife in the world. Because it's funny. I shouldn't really say this. Well, I'm not going to say this.
Well, you can say a little bit.
Well, you just meet people. Can I just tell you what's so great about Harley? Another thing that's so great. You're building your own legend. You're writing your own life.
Yes.
It's your movie. And when you ride a Harley, when you show up, people look, that Road Glide out there, that's been to the White House, right? That Road Glide has been in Manhattan at the poshiest posh hotels. You can ride it. You are in style. You are classy. Everybody knows what a fucking Harley is,
Yes.
right? And you people look at you in awe. They do.
Most of
They
them do.
literally look at you and go like, "Wow!" It's like that. Then
Kids
Came
love it,
Brunson. Remember that the start of Then Came Brunson when Michael Parks pulls up on that Sportster and the guy the business guy's all stressed and sitting there and he's looking up and he goes, "Where are you going?"
Right.
And he goes, "What's he say?" He says, "Wherever I want," or
Something like
Something,
that.
yeah.
And the guy goes, "Wow." He goes,
He had his beanie on.
"Yeah," and he goes, "Well, yeah." So I can't remember the whole. I brought it up and I can't remember the whole thing, but it's that essence of. I think people still kind of look at you with this
100%.
I've gone into
voyeuristic kind of
two
envy.
very exclusive resorts with my wife on the back, and they didn't want anything to do with us.
Get the fuck out.
I'm telling you, we roll up and the parking valet guy comes running up, stop. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're staying here." And he's, "Oh."
Well,
Park right
okay.
here.
Well, there's that.
And then we went
There's
to
that.
another place that I love,
Yeah.
and we walked in helmet and shit, and they're just like,
We don't got any
2-night
rooms.
minimum. And we're like, come on.
Well,
And so
those-
then they got to
yeah,
know me a little bit.
Okay, so
And then I took
you ran
got
into
in.
some idiots.
I ran into some people. So we got in and they served us and they did all this great stuff. And I ended up calling the manager and I took probably 40 people back for a company event to recognize them. And that lady would have never had that business had they not let us stay the one night.
Yeah.
But those are two situations
Yeah.
where it's like, they're just like,
Well, those are
not your kind.
you ran into some dummies there, man. But I've had no problem with it. And
But you're Robert Patrick.
Well, yeah, but I roll in a full face mask, so
Yeah,
it's not like I
that's
ride
They
in.
don't like
going
him until he takes his helmet.
Yeah.
off.
Hey, there's
Well, that'll happen too. Like I'll ride in and and I see where I want to park and take off the helmet. They'll go, "Oh, well."
You know the funny thing is though,
Well, you gonna park it?
from a YouTube standpoint, from a YouTube standpoint, we've been across every state, different countries, or different states, gas stations, restaurants. We take our helmets, walk in, and people are like, 2LaneLIVE.
Oh yeah, you guys have become celebrities.
Our wives have
so-
been seen in the airport.
So I don't know all about this YouTube stuff.
It's there it is.
You guys
right
are
there.
you guys are
You're
you
on
guys are- There I am, YouTube.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that. Little puffy under the chin there.
Not remember that TV monitor is
Might have
not
to
good.
might have to start thinking about some plastic surgery pretty soon.
No.
I don't know.
So we're gonna ride to the homecoming on our new bikes. We're gonna stop at some dealerships along the way, and I guess we could stop at Santa Clarita or Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita.
Which is
That's
in
not
what
in the
city?
cards.
Where is Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita?
Right there.
Is it southern
Is
or
it in
northern
Santa Clarita?
California?
That's 37 miles from the Hollywood Hills.
There you
Oh.
go. So we're gonna ride to Milwaukee, hang out at the homecoming, do some stuff there with Harley. Now they want us to ride from there to Sturgis, but stop at one of the Willie G's routes, a couple of his routes from Milwaukee to Sturgis. So we might be doing that and then spend some time in Sturgis.
Will you be at the homecoming this year? Or not?
My schedule is when is it?
July
It's the end of July, the last week of July.
26th, I want to say.
Probably not.
Okay.
Usually with
24.
any of those events, if I can't ride there, I don't want to go there.
Right.
Right.
You're a badass.
Because I don't feel
When can we see you at it somewhere, Sturgis, Deadwood, and then this time actually sit and have a cigar with you?
I don't know.
We got to figure that out.
It depends on my acting. The way I schedule everything, it's because I got a lot of booze fighter activity, a lot of booze fighter stuff, and everything's schedule permitting. And right now I'm booked up like crazy.
When do you sleep?
I sleep.
He has
I sleep.
naps.
I take naps. I'm a napper.
He's a napper.
I confess that to you. Right now is nap time.
I mean,
I'm getting a little sluggish right now.
it's pretty cool that with your busy schedule, though, you are actually sitting in Canoga Park in our studio right now, telling us these great stories.
Well, I hope they were great stories.
They're great.
I sort of feel like I just puked all over the place.
No, this has been fantastic.
I'll probably be hearing from
Look, see
people
all the
over.
see the side there with all that. That's Josh
Look at
answering
that,
all the
Robert.
questions
Oh, really?
we're getting.
What kind of
Well-
questions are we getting?
Well, they're saying if you get plastic surgery, you'll look like T-1000. So
Is that what they're saying?
Yes.
that's what they're saying.
It's funny when I got cast for when they asked me to do. I don't know if I can say this. When they asked me to do,
A show.
I'm at that age now of I'm 65.
You're still young.
Okay,
All right.
so I'm at that age though where they asked my manager, has Robert had any plastic surgery? And I'd never heard that before.
No.
Like, oh, why would they ask that? Well, because it takes place in 1923. If you show up looking like you've had a
Right.
bunch of work, I went, oh,
So they didn't want you to have it.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
And we got some folks over at Santa Clarita Harley asking, how's your brother?
How is my brother?
Someone's
The
brother.
accident on
Probably the
bike.
accident.
Oh, yeah.
yes, yes. Well, my brother, Bam, is in surgery right now. And I don't want to get too descriptive of his injuries, but these fellas heard it. And it's very, very serious. So keep him in your prayers.
Definitely
and
say
thanks
a prayer for
asking.
him.
Yeah. It's
Keep him in your thoughts.
Yeah.
he's in the surgery right now.
So yeah,
So,
I'm gonna just think one day we'll be sitting in Deadwood having a cigar. I'm just gonna keep.
yeah, I want Bam to be there.
Bam.
You know,
be there,
Bam's
yeah.
one of those guys, and I'm, doing when I became a booze fighter, and I started doing USO tours. One of my best friends, Max Martini, is also a club brother. He's in my chapter. We call him Pit Stop because every time we get on a bike, we start riding, he's got to take a piss. It's like you got this train
Sounds
to be
my
like,
guy.
No,
Yeah.
I hold.
well, we want to
get.
give. We recommended to Max he gets Depends.
So you keep going.
Jesus Christ, dude. And what we call him Pit Stop. And Max was on the unit with me. But Max and I took our cuts to Iraq.
Oh wow.
So we had our booze fighter cuts in Iraq, walking around with I can't remember who was on the tour with us. And we felt pretty cool about that. That was early on in the war. Later on, I had the great fortune of flying in with Admiral Mullen to do the Spring Troop Tour in 2009. Max and I went to Afghanistan with Tommy Lasorda. And
I mean, that's gotta be just a crazy experience, isn't it?
yeah. Well, anytime you go, I
you're
go
bringing-
and see a war and see it and realize, all this stuff is brought in and what they have. And this is, men and women from your country out here fighting for this. It's pretty awe-inspiring.
I'm sure. And then I'm sure
the
it
sacrifice they make.
has to feel good for you to know that you're bringing a piece of home to them.
It did feel good. And, Harley's right there with them. I
Right.
mean, Harley's actually, they're selling they're selling motorcycles on those bases, which is so great. I mean,
Wow.
it's,
Wow.
that's who Harley is.
Yeah.
They've gone to battle with us every, in
Wow.
every war. So that's pretty cool.
Well,
It was cool to be there representing my motorcycle
Of
club and
course.
being in Iraq and Afghanistan, and God love our troops. And I'm of the mindset that we have to be very, very honest, and when we deploy them and utilize them and our blood and treasure, we better be damn certain we're going to be behind them 100%, and we're fully committed to taking them there.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I saw on those tours was with the rules of engagement. And, if you're going to be over there, you better have full on, you better be fully committed to it. You can't hold these guys back.
Right.
And I went with Tim Kennedy once, and a great UFC fighter. And that was one of the things we were talking about, we have the best military in the world, and if you let them do their thing, they'll do it, and they'll take care of it fast. And we just, as a country, we have to really be certain it's for the right reasons.
Right.
Someone just said, God love you for helping our troops.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, none of us would be sitting in Canoga Park right now if it wasn't for our military.
Absolutely.
And when you say that, you're saying that about the military, and you're saying about the families, the spouses. Bonnie Carroll is a dear, dear friend of mine. I do a lot of work with her. TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Survival Program, which is a charity you should find, taps.org. They deal with grief, and they deal with the grief of the family that loses a child. And as you'll be able to read right there,
Yep.
this one here.
Mm-hmm. Captain Roland Matthew, Afghanistan. First there. Killed
And I know his family. I met them through, and he was a combat controller, and I met his sister and his mom and his dad. And that's the thing that, we have to acknowledge that without them, we wouldn't be riding Harley-Davidsons. We
Well,
wouldn't be able to go interstate like we do. We wouldn't be able to do
And
Route
look, you
66.
can go
We
across
wouldn't
the
be able to do
state
it.
line. You don't have to pull a passport out.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean,
freedom. We have it in this country, and you want to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want you to do. And nothing represents it like what we do. That's why this show that you guys do is so great. You get out there and you do it, and that's what it's about for me.
Well, we're blessed to have you on the show today, and we thank you for taking time out of your day. I mean, we talked to you the other day, and you were in Stockholm or something. And we're like, what the hell is 3 in the morning?
Sweden, signing autographs out there.
yeah.
Did I call you? It
You
was
called us.
Oh my God, I
It
did.
was 3:30
I
in the
had
morning.
jet lag. 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, what do you got? What is your show?
Who the
you
hell
got?
are you? What do you
What
want?
the hell are you? Why are you pestering me? No.
We're family now, right?
We're family now.
Yeah.
We're family. You come on in, see me down here at Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. We'll take care of you. You got my word.
Boom.
All right.
Is
And
there-
Oliver's too. He's not here. You
Is-
should have Oliver
We
on the
will.
show.
Let's get him on the show.
Set it up.
You need
or
to have
tell 'em.
Oliver. And you could have Oliver bring in some of his ugly brothers.
Yeah.
Because he's got some great stories. Some of the guys, chopper builders and things like that.
Do you know a
New
guy
York
named-
Mike is another guy you should have on the show. New York Mike, former owner of San Diego Harley-Davidson, Vietnam combat veteran. He's a fantastic guy. You should have him on the show. I'll tell you what, he's done more trips around the United States of America than anybody I know.
Right.
There's nobody I know that has more time in the seat
Than him.
on a Harley than New York Mike.
Hmm.
And he's 80 years old and he's still doing it.
Wow.
And
love that.
he's got a hot young wife, and she goes with him from time to time. Katrina, she'll be glad I said that. But before I sign off, there was one other thing I was going to say, which was, you should have Mike on here. You should have Oliver on here. And I know what I was going to say. I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to go into Beverly Hills now.
Yes.
So I'm riding my quiet bike.
Ah,
Right. And I have two. I have a loud bike and I have a quiet bike. And I'm going to ride into Beverly Hills and go to the Grand Havana room and sit there and smoke some fucking cigars.
Yeah, but
yeah.
My buddies. And
I love the Grand.
Sounds like a
Havana.
great.
so from Canoga to Beverly Hills,
You're done.
all on a Harley Davidson.
So
Yeah.
Harley Davidson in
Harley-
our lives.
Harley, as Willie G says, Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson came into our life, and it's made a whole world for us. And we get to see all of America and the world because we have people from around the world watching us. And
Well,
It's been
Harley's
great.
lucky to have us.
they are Harley. You're really lucky you got
Wow.
2-lane life.
and on a final note,
Harley Davidson Motor Company. I am so grateful for the opportunity to sell Harley Davidson motorcycles. Thank you. Thank you.
And are there
So are we.
a couple dealerships you should? I don't know if you've mentioned.
We might have beaten that to death.
Well, let's do it. one
That's
more
all
time.
right.
But you're right. It's Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita. That's h-dsc.com on the internets.
And they got a nice dealersship. We've been there. We've seen it.
I
It's
can't wait to
beautiful.
see the new one.
You gotta come on down. We got the T2 video arcade game that was given to me in 1990 by Bally's or Williams, and I've got an authentic 1975, 76 Evil Knievel pinball machine,
Yeah.
and they're both set on free play. You can come play them and see that POWMI chair of honor. And with that, I got to take a piss and hit the road. I'll see you guys. Thank you for the gloves.
Hey, what a
Thank
great
you.
show.
See you later.
See you
See you
guys
down
later.
there.
Thanks, Robert.
God bless you guys.